Good evening, or good morning, or good day, wherever you are, in whatever way or capacity that you're joining. You could be anywhere, but here you are, tuning into Rougie Ruminations and Revelations podcast. Let's light a candle to set the container for this space. Hello, everyone. Welcome. My name is Keena Atkinson. Keena Stayfly Atkinson, as I am most commonly known, and your host of this lovely show. Thank you to my wonderful son, Kayshawn. Thank you to Dom, my friend, my real estate agent, my teacher in so many ways. Thank you so much to both of these people for encouraging me, for holding a mirror up to me and encouraging and reminding and showing me that me not making episodes is only an excuse. And there's ways that I can get past the limits that have so far held me back, right, from making my episodes. So I want to let you know, I want to make a disclaimer. I want to make a disclaimer and let you know that in the time that by the time that this episode is over, I won't be the same. Okay? Maybe you won't either. Hopefully, you won't be the same either by the time that this episode is over. I'm going to put a paper over my camera so that I don't be distracted with this. And hopefully that's okay. Okay. All right. Oops. Let me try that again. Tape it up there. Maybe it'll stay. And maybe I didn't turn off the video. Okay. So this episode is available on all of your regular podcast platforms as well as YouTube. Okay. So I want to get into it. I want to let you know that, and I want in the time that it takes to get through this episode, get to the other side of it, I won't be the same. My perspective will hopefully be broader, as well as yours. I won't be the same person that I am in this moment while you're listening or looking right now. By the time we get done with this episode, I'll be different. And I want to tell you that because that's one of the reasons why I haven't recorded since one of the reasons why I have not posted an episode. I have recorded episodes, but I haven't posted them. And that's one of the reasons why, is because I'm like, gosh, every time, as soon as I get done filming an episode, I'm not the same after the episode. So then I don't want to put out an older version of myself because that's not who I am anymore after I get done recording it. By that point, my perspective has grown, shifted. I feel more free and liberated. And therefore, I am on the other side of whatever it was that brought me to the microphone in the first place, okay? So part of me being gone has been that limiting belief that, well, hey, it makes no point in putting out a version of me that no longer exists. My son gave me very sound advice and was like, well, Keena, he didn't say, well, Keena. My son gave me very sound advice. He said, well, Mom, you should still post it because people might want to see the growth. People might want to be growing with you. You can't be you can't be doing all of this growing and leaving us here. Take us with you. And of course, I would love to take y'all with me. So here we are together doing this on this ride. So one of the things I want to share with y'all is a labor acknowledgement. I will end up writing my own labor acknowledgement, but it has been feeling very important to me to open up workshops, classes, and spaces with a labor acknowledgement. We do the land acknowledgements, and the land acknowledgement is also, it is important. Let me take a drink of water. That is important. And so is the labor acknowledgement. So this one I'm going to read to you today. It's written by Dr. Tara T.J. Stewart, an assistant professor of higher education and student affairs at Iowa State University. So Dr. Stewart wrote this labor acknowledgement. I will read it to you today. Sit with it. We must acknowledge that much of what we know of this country today, including its culture, economic growth, and development throughout history and across time, has been made possible by the labor of enslaved Africans and their ascendants who suffered the horror of the transatlantic trafficking of their people, chattel slavery, and Jim Crow. We are indebted to their labor and their sacrifice, and we must acknowledge the tremors of that violence throughout the generations and the resulting impact that can still be felt and witnessed today. When I think about labor, I think about the folks who cannot work for many reasons or who do not want to, and what that means for an exploitive, labor-obsessed society. I think about folks who worked right up until the very end of their life with no rest. I think of folks whose labor is questioned, judged, criminalized, and unfairly legislated. I think of labor unions who labored for better pay, better benefits, and safer working conditions for so many. I think of folks who are 1 to 3 paychecks away from being homeless and hungry, and yet they labor every day and have for a long time. I think about how the pandemic has exacerbated labor for so many of us. I think of those who give labor emotional and pregnancy, which is brutal on the body and in some cases deadly. And I'm thinking of those lucky ones who get to labor through things and contexts they love. But the bottom line is this: if we cannot collectively begin to acknowledge the historical labor that has allowed our society to get and be where it is today, then we will continue to struggle to reconcile and redress those histories and legacies. Let's take a breath in through the nose together. Open the mouth, sigh, exhale it out. Take a moment and see how that lands within and around your spirit. In and around spirit. So, I thought for today's episode, I would talk with y'all about Sober October. If we are connected online on Facebook or Instagram, on those 2 platforms, or in real life, you know about Sober October. I hopefully I did a good enough job on my social media platforms letting you know about Sober October. So in October, really in September, I started to prepare people. I stopped drinking in September. Okay, in September, I stopped drinking alcohol because I was preparing for Sober October. So I was like, well, it doesn't make sense for me to drink all the way up until the end of September. So by the time that I was basically done preparing for Sober October, I was like, it didn't feel right to me to go ahead and drink because I had already like a baseline understanding of a lot of things that I was teaching through social media in my Sober October posts, okay? So I did not drink anymore after that. And at this point, I still haven't drank. It's November the 15th, 16th. It's like 11:15 at night right now while I'm recording. And I don't know, you probably can't tell because the lights are bright. But I did Sober October in October, and now we are mid-November, and everyone is asking me, Keena, are you drinking again yet? Are you going to drink again? And I'm like, ooh, no, I'm not drinking. I think I Sober Octobered myself really, really good this year because I'm not interested in drinking alcohol. I think that the brain shifting that I did really worked on me. I think I educated myself out of wanting to drink. I think that I confronted and faced my distractions so much so that I no longer want to drink. And so I realized that there's different type of drinkers. Through these conversations, I've learned that there's different types of people who drink, right? There's people who say, I drink socially. There's been people who say, I drink as part of a routine. There's people who say, I drink when I'm having a bad day. There's people who have said to me, I just now got my body back from having my baby. I'm no longer breastfeeding. I deserve to drink, right? I have heard, I don't really drink that much, but when I do drink, it's for a reason. I've heard all those things. And let's see here. I've heard people say, I'm drinking because I like to drink. Okay. I've heard all of these reasons, and they're all fair. They're all fair. I want to share with you some of the things that really, really worked for me for Sober October, because it's not like I went through the whole month and did not have any interest in drinking alcohol. I did. And what happened was, I think because of the prompts that we did, right? And we did different prompts through the month. I wrote them all in my planner. I made memes for them and I posted them. I actually still owe y'all like 5 days of makeup work on that Sober October. And I was like, why don't I just make the podcast episode be about Sober October? So each day of the week had a different theme. The first Sundays was like self-care Sunday. So then it would be like, okay, for self-care Sunday, it would be giving you ways to take care of yourself emotionally and energetically, physically, in a way to not have you have alcohol be a part of that, right? So it would be, self-care Sunday would be ways to address care and ease into relaxation, because alcohol is a depressant. So a lot of times people are looking for alcohol to relax, to unwind, to wind down, right? Wind down. And so Self-Care Sunday was like, okay, how can you relax and live your best self-care life without drinking? So I did things like essential oils and ashwagandha and taking a walk, resting, watching movies, relaxing, setting myself up. I also filled in my time on Sundays with productivity power hour. So instead of unwinding on Sundays, like to the point where I'm just having a glass of wine and then falling asleep because it makes me sleepy, I would sit here on Sundays, put my son to bed, and instead of grabbing a glass of wine and meal prepping, I would get a cup of water and start productivity power hour. I would get the meal prepping done most of the time earlier in the day, so that in the evening after I put him to bed, it was productivity power hour time. So I did kind of change up the way in which I ran my day. I changed up the order and the structure of the day a little bit so that I was not still in that same routine. Okay. If you wanted to think about where a book, right, that I adopted a lot of these principles from, it was Atomic Habits. I was looking at Atomic Habits like, okay, how can I implement some of these habit changing strategies, habit building strategies into quitting or stepping back from drinking alcohol in a very loving, non-judgmental way, right? And I do think that there's something to that as well, like the fact that I stepped back from drinking because I care about myself, instead of I step back from drinking because I'm such a loser and I just keep, and I'm so weak, or whatever type of mean things that you might say about yourself when you bash yourself for naturally wanting to preserve what you understand to be comfort. How can you judge yourself for that? Don't judge yourself for that. So it's important that you approach this from a very loving perspective. I did these things because I care about myself. I really, really love myself. So I don't want to put myself through any unnecessary suffering. I don't want to put myself through suffering unnecessarily. Okay. And postponing and avoiding, and running away from my challenges or problems or reality, that is not love for myself. Okay. So that's a distinct, I don't know what do I want to say, like a distinction that I want to make, a very key difference. And it shows up in other things that we'll talk about as we go through these podcast episodes too. So Sunday was self-care Sunday, self-care sober Sunday, basically. Mondays was like a fun fact, a did you know, right? So on Mondays, I would teach you something about the effects that alcohol has on, your nervous system, your sleep, your kidneys, things like that. So that was Mondays. Tuesday was try this instead of that. So try, instead of having a habit for drinking, or instead of going down the same route in the grocery store where you just naturally pick up your bottle of wine. That's what my pattern was, right? In Aldi, I would go and get my things, go down that dairy aisle, and the wine is sitting right next to there. Why not grab a bottle of red wine, right? So it was just a very easy habit, too easy to not do. So, okay, so then maybe I change up my route in Aldi, or I know that that's my routine. So when I do go down that route, I can catch and notice, oh, that's a habit. We're not doing that anymore, right? Oh, that's my habit kicking in, my regular routine of grabbing that red wine, just keep going past. Okay, so not even replacing it with something else, but just noticing, oh, that's just a part of my routine. I don't actually need the red wine. Then on Tuesday or Wednesdays, it would be happy hour of clarity. So on happy hour of clarity, it would be like, okay, having your clear mind, it would be like a journaling prompt, basically. Okay. Thursdays would be ways to refuse alcohol. And so we did different types of things. We did the direct and assertive method. We did the humor method. We did the personal choice method. We just did different ways of refusing alcohol. It was a script that I gave you all every single week. Okay. On Thursdays. Also, Sober October, the post was every day at 4:44 p.m. Okay? Because I was like, okay, well, 4:44, I love that number. Shout out to Jay-Z. And also I did 4:44 because I'm like, okay, well, that's right around when happy hour starts, right? Right around when people are getting off of work, maybe about to go and start drinking. So I did it at 4:44 p.m. Intentional with the timing. So that was Thursdays was the script, and then Fridays was Fridays and Saturdays were an affirmation, right? Like no alcohol, no regrets. Alcohol free is the key to a healthier me. That type of thing. Saturday as well. Saturday was more so like more on Saturdays was you are statements like you are stronger than any drink. You don't need alcohol to have a great time. So just trying to address the messages that seem real because it's a regular pattern of thinking, but is not actually real, right? Not real. Like you don't actually need to have alcohol to have a good time. Actually, alcohol doesn't make you feel better at the end of a terrible day. And so the reason why I tell people that I think I sober Octobered myself a little too good is because when I would have a terrible day. Okay, well, let me go back. Sorry, I just did that, y'all, but I got to go back. I sober Octobered myself so good because when I told you earlier, I had to face and acknowledge things that I wouldn't have otherwise. So when I would have a really, really bad day, I have already trained myself to know that alcohol does not make me feel better at the end of a hard day. At the beginning of Sober October, we also took our blood pressure and took pictures of our face as well as our full body. so that we can also have that data results that you can't really argue with or deny outside of your regular normal routine, right? If you're a woman, you go through your normal monthly fluctuations, can't argue with that, right? You might have hormonal acne. If it's the same time of the month, you should still see an improvement, right? So back to the point I was making. When I would have a bad day, I knew already that drinking alcohol wasn't going to actually change my day. So it was more so this month was about releasing myself from whatever my emotional attachments was to alcohol, whatever my excuses were for drinking alcohol, and figuring out really what I really wanted past those moments. Okay? You can have a moment where you're like, I feel like I want to escape. However, you still have to come back and deal with whatever the thing is that you want to escape from. So why not just deal with it now and then get through it and past it faster, rather than avoiding it now and then still having to come back and face it and not even be at your best, right? When I went out to party, I've gone out to party, I want to say 2 or 3 times. And I've gone out to party at least 2 or 3 times. Yep, I went out to party 3 times since I stopped drinking for Sober October. Since I stepped back from alcohol, right? Because saying stop drinking to me, I don't know, it seems a little weird. I'm not making any promises about sobriety. All I can do is tell you where I'm at right now. Okay? I did not know that I was going to feel like not drinking, you know? I just realized my head was cut out of the video. Oh, well. Where was I? I was telling y'all, like, I knew I would still have to face those things. Also, the part about when I really started to teach myself the effects that alcohol has on your body, right? I'm like, gosh, I don't want to be hungover. I don't want to be dehydrated. I'm exercising in the gym. I don't want to set back my goals and my progress in the gym. I don't want to slow down my metabolism. I don't want to make myself have to take more time to rebound and recover. If my day is hard, I'll do one of those self-care things. I started making the ashwagandha chocolate. I'll have a piece of ashwagandha chocolate because I actually know that I'll feel good. At the beginning of the month, I thought that I was going to have to replace alcohol with something else, right? I was like, okay, well, what am I going to drink? I got to find some kind of an herbal tea, And I mean, I constantly researched herbs that help with, I constantly searched for herbs that helps with stress and anxiety and intense feelings like that, right? And that was great. That was good, but I didn't drink any of the tea because I'm not a tea drinker. Not a CBD type of a girl, but I'm not opposed to it. But I was like, replacing it is still keeping me in distraction. It still keeps me in a state of being distracted. And the distraction and the escape is what I am trying to release. Okay? So sitting in the present moment with your uncomfortable feelings and sensations and emotions, it is a practice. Training your mind to notice that you want to escape, but choosing to stay present is a practice. Okay? And I'm telling you, like, and I say that about the hard day because, I don't know, it wasn't my thing to just drink when I had a hard day. But I don't know, I feel like that's the thing that I need to be leaning on right now when I'm talking to y'all. For me, my habit for drinking, well, I would say because I've been socialized that way, right? Like, oh, it's a hard day, got to take a shot or got to have some wine or, you know, whatever. Gotta relax, unwind. And the way that it's romanticized, drinking, run yourself a bubble bath and have a glass of wine. Have a glass of wine when you walk in the house and take off your bra. Have a glass of wine and popcorn, Olivia Pope. It's been romanticized and socialized for that to be the ultimate thing accompanying your wind down. So, I don't know, I just want to reiterate deeply, it doesn't really wind you down. It does depress your nervous system, but that is escapism. And I'm not shading or shaming anybody who drinks. I'm letting you know my mental process that I had to go through in order to be sitting here telling you I sober Octobered myself really good last month. Okay? So, all right. So sometimes people like to drink because their day was really hard, because they're having really hard feelings. And I think I've talked about this before, about how important it is to me to be present even when it's uncomfortable, because I want you to know that there's lessons and there's so much to learn from those moments when you're uncomfortable. And and if you practice staying in them, you can free yourself from having them so frequently. Okay? So let's say you're somebody who drinks because it's a habit, your routine. I'm like that, right? Or that's how I've been. My routine was pour a glass of wine while meal prepping, while chopping my vegetables and washing and packaging up my fruit for the week, or cooking my rice and, seasoning up my seafood. It made sense to me because I'm not a kind of girl. If I sit down with a glass of wine, it won't be drank. I will go to sleep. It doesn't help. I have poured so many bottles of wine down the trash, 1 cup at a time, because I just don't. I have the intention to drink, but I didn't drink, right? And so that's why I'm when I say, I don't drink, it's not like I was a big drinker in the first place, but it's just the fact that the reasons that I was drinking, I seem to have addressed within myself. And I'm let me tell you all about it. So if you drink because it's a habit, then the main thing is just drinking water. Drink water instead. If you drink because you like that sweet, that taste, I'm a kind of girl who likes margaritas and I like cocktails. If you're that kind of a person, then what can you do? Drink water. I think water oftentimes ends a lot of cravings. And if you're a social drinker, here's what I did was I just told my friends I'm not drinking. And then I said, and if people offer shots, then I'll take water. Or hand me an empty shot cup and I will, for the picture, I will pose with it. But I'm not drinking. And my friends supported that. They did not try to overstep my boundary. They did not try to, come on, none of that. They just was okay. And I was really surprised, in September, at the end of September, how many people were saying, yeah, I'm going to do Sober October. Whether or not they finished it is irrelevant. The fact that they were just willing to try was everything. It was really cool to observe that and see people I'm going to try this. I thought that was so cool. So, and that's the thing, at the beginning of the month, at the beginning of October, end of September, my invitation was open. It was very open and it was non-committal. It did not require any commitments or promises. It was hey, just do it as an experiment. Just see what's to it for you. Right? But the main thing is the emotional attachment. If you're using alcohol to dampen down an emotion or to take you out of reality or away from your problems, I want you to know that they don't go anywhere. They don't go anywhere. Okay? So when you feel like, oh, a drink would be really nice right now, would it be really nice? Or would it contribute to you escaping? Would you actually have a hangover and feel dehydrated, tired, bloated? And we can talk more about that another time, because there's other things that once you know what you really want for yourself, like that's what I would say is like, what do you want for yourself? When you know more what you want for yourself, that then you can have a better chance and time of having a positive influence over your decisions. Now, I can't say that I've ever been somebody who's ever had a deep struggle with alcohol. I haven't. I ain't gonna lie, I haven't. Which is interesting because one of my parents did have alcoholism, and I was always worried about that for myself. But I am really kind of a once you make your mind up type of girl. I'm a cold turkey type of girl, and that's how I am. I'm absolute in those ways. Like I be absolute. I don't like to sit on the edge of the fence or any of those things. But anyway, you know, what do they say? 1 foot in, 1 foot out of the door. A couple things that I heard or read throughout the time, I can't remember which one, but something that resonated that I thought was a very nice perspective was somebody said, one drink is not enough. One drink is one too many, and two is not enough. Two is never enough. It was something like that. One drink is one too many, and two is never enough. Or one is one too many and never enough. The DSM also, I just want you to know that the DSM doesn't use the word alcoholic. The DSM says alcohol use disorder or alcohol abuse disorder. The DSM calls it alcohol use disorder, okay? So it's not called alcoholic or alcoholism. In the DSM, it's called alcohol use disorder these days. So that's just a little tidbit FYI for you, okay? You know, I think that kind of sums up Sober October for me. Nothing too intense, but very eye-opening and interesting and very reflective, because, of course, anytime and every time that I was like, I should drink right now, I also had to challenge that statement and ask myself, why? And then I had to ask myself even further, and why that? And why that? And why that? To get to the bottom of it. And then also it helped me it helped my level of self-love increase, because of all the things that I did to take proper care of myself instead of drinking. Life-changing. I want you to know, if you drink alcohol and you want to reduce your drinking, modify it, slow it down, or stop, I want you to know that there's other ways besides Alcohol Anonymous. There are other options for stopping drinking. I know Alcohol Anonymous is a Christian-rooted organization. You don't have to go that route if you don't want to. You can. You don't only have to do like the 12 steps, but you can. It probably wouldn't hurt to attend a virtual or in-person meeting if you're curious about it. I had intended to do it so that I would have the experience of attending, but I never did. I never went. I never went to the AA meeting. So maybe you'll go. Let me know how it is for you. And yeah, there's other ways though, right? So if you're interested, all you have to do is Google some options and resources. It's really that simple of how and where to start is Google. Google is your friend. Okay? So moving on. Okay, we're winding down our episode. I want to tell y'all a couple of things. My birthday is coming up on Saturday. I'm going to be 36. Okay, I'm going to be 36 years old on Saturday. What am I doing for my birthday? I'm gonna have to record an episode next week and tell y'all. I'll have to come back and let y'all know what I did, okay? So my birthday's coming up. Hooray! All right, I will be 36 years old. And I did some writing, but we'll see what I end up doing with it. Well, I'm 36 years old, and it's right. A lot of people ask me about my class schedule. I want you to know my class schedule is posted on my website always. www.rougiewellness.com. ROUJIE wellness.com. Okay, click on classes. That's where my class schedule is. If you want to attend any of my classes, you can also go on my website and schedule an appointment or book with me or any of those type of things. Go on my website. If you want to be a sponsor on this podcast, let me know. And I would love to have a sponsor for this show because that will help with the labor. It would empower me financially on the labor, okay, that it takes to put on these episodes. It would empower me financially to be able to do the work that it takes to put these shows together, to produce them, to bring them to you, okay? And I think that's it, okay? I'll tell you, this shirt that I'm wearing today, Boys Cry. It says boys don't cry, and then don't is crossed off. This shirt is available on my website. Buy it. All right, I have it available in 2 different colors on the crew neck. I have it available as hoodie, long sleeve, and t-shirt, okay? Buy the shirt. It's cute, right? If you support this message, buy the shirt, buy my merch. Okay? Other than that, I am tired. It's almost midnight, and so I'm going to go to bed. I wanted to tell y'all more things, but we can leave it here. If you found this episode helpful, please let me know, okay? I want feedback. If this episode was trash to you, at least leave a 5-star review for the effort that I put forth in creating it. And come back next time and give me another chance, okay? And share this with somebody if you think that this resonated for them. If there's a topic that you have questions about or that you would love to hear me speak on, let me know. I'm down, okay? And I think that's it. I'm going to let y'all go because I am so tired, but I promised myself I was not going to go to bed unless I got my booty back on the microphone, okay? Pray for me that I get this video and audio edited and posted before I turn 36, okay? Let's hope that I can get this done while I'm still 35. That's it, y'all. Have a great rest of your day, night, evening, whatever, wherever. Thank you all so much for joining and tuning in to listen to this episode today about Sober October. And hopefully you're not the same as you were 35, 40 minutes ago. Okay? Hopefully you are not the same. I'm not. All right. Have a good rest of y'all's day. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.